And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com. As always, visit our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Make sure you get down there tomorrow. Great spot to get either your Bengals game food or, you watch the Bengals game. It's 4:30, 5 o'clock. You don't really feel like cooking. Maybe get it delivered on the Uber Eats app, through the Galactic Fried Chicken app, or maybe you just go down to Dayton, Kentucky, have Shane and company get you some Galactic Fried Chicken ready to go, and tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off your order. That's where we have to start. Pump It Up was back.
It was back. What a video that was.
Pump It Up is back. It is the kickoff song. There was a great video that went with it. But more importantly, they struck gold. They might have just found UC's thing.
I was alerted that apparently they played that same song at Texas, Alabama earlier in the day.
Don't care.
That's whatever.
Don't care. Why don't care? Because
they don't have Travis Kelce. They don't have Travis Kelce doing it. Exactly.
You gotta fight for your right to part. Like, they retired Shout. They put Shout out to pasture.
Do you know whose idea this whole video montage was at the beginning?
Eichel.
Yep.
Yeah. Because they listen. Like, they're in tune.
Yeah.
They hear everything that's being said.
Well, and everyone's playing the trumpets. Why would you want to be playing the trumpets?
I don't really care about. I really don't care about that.
I just mean it's played out right now everywhere.
Okay, but I don't care about, like, if it's fun and it gets the crowd into it. I don't care if it's played out. But what they did was brilliant, because they brought it on as everybody was kind of expecting, and then they mashed it up and made it sound bad.
Well, they did Pump It Up, and they did they started to do Shout. They started to do Shout, and they're like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they put Shout to bed.
They
took Shout out back,
took it to pasture,
and they put it to sleep,
Old Yeller style.
And then they made us think it was going to be the trumpets.
Oh.
And then into Travis Kelce, you got to fight for your right to party. And I thought it was perfect.
I agree.
The presentation, the choice, something that can be kind of unique to UC because of Travis and his connection and his... What's going to get you more pumped up? Ron Burgundy or Travis Kelce introing "You Got to Fight for Your Right to Party"?
Ron Burgundy was great, like 15 years ago,
right? I thought, like, Eichel.
It was good. It was good, really good.
Yeah, I loved it. Now, you know what? I also wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind alternating Narcos and Pump It Up.
Just as long as it never goes back to Shout.
No, I'm talking about on kickoffs.
Okay.
I don't know that you need the same kickoff song every time.
And that's fine.
I think you could have a little variety there.
What I will say is...
in a game where you scored 9 touchdowns.
Looking at the student section, looking around the stadium from the box, or from the press box, people still get up to Pump It Up. The stadium still go, like, you got people jumping in the Bearcat layer. You got people moving around in the sidelines. You got the student section still going bananas for it. So I don't think it's time to put that one to bed. It doesn't make sense to put it to bed when it's still hyping an entire stadium up. So I don't know. I'm totally here for it.
Can we just talk about what a batshit crazy day it has been in college football?
Yeah.
Georgia Southern just beat Nebraska.
Who's surprised? At this point, Scott Frost is making a mockery of himself.
Can UC go to the Fun Belt?
I'm good.
I know, I'm good too. But that's going to be a hell of a conference. Like,
my favorite is looking at Twitter right now, and people are like, "Well, Cincinnati's going to have to worry about Marshall or Appalachian State for the New Year's Six Bowl."
potentially, like that's real.
It's week 2.
Okay, but
let's pump the brakes. I get it.
pump the brakes on Cincinnati winning all the rest of their games.
I'm just saying you're putting together a great resume right now. That's fine, but
yeah, but the argument is
until they lose,
not,
until they lose 2 or 3 in conference.
That's the argument, right? Look, you can't. The Fun Belt is fun. There's gonna be a lot of crazy shit that happens when those teams start playing each other.
Just like Maction, Thursday night Maction.
No, nothing like Maction. Maction with actual good football teams. But hell of a day. How about my Herd? I feel bad for Marcus, man.
You don't want to start your career at Notre Dame 0-3.
Well, did you see? I think Lou Holtz started 1-4. Brian Kelly started 1-3 or 1-4. Like all the best coaches in Notre Dame history have had a little bit of a bumpy start.
All of those had a 1 in front of it,
and also 4 or 5 games. He's only at 3. Let's hope he can get things on track. But the problem with Notre Dame is what we knew the problem with Notre Dame was going into the season.
Tough schedule.
No, they got a bad quarterback.
Which
one?
Anything
to do with tough schedule. They got a bad quarterback.
Their schedule's not nice the rest of the season, though, either.
Okay, but they got a terrible quarterback.
Yeah, well.
Your schedule isn't as hard as it looks if you've got a good quarterback.
He's
kid.
He's not Ben Bryant. He's not Evan Prater.
Marcus Freeman would pay a lot of money to have either of those kids on his roster right now.
Either one.
Let's now get to the Bearcats. People are like, I've been watching this for 7 minutes. You haven't even talked about the game yet.
I mean, kind of in-game experience. But yeah.
That was a complete, for the most part. Was it perfect? No. Was that a complete game from a team that was pissed off? That was a pretty complete game, right?
Especially when you're playing against a triple option. Chad, this team held the ball for 21 minutes. Cincinnati held the ball for 21 minutes of the 40 and some change. Whereas
60.
Sorry, 60. Whereas Kennesaw held it for 38 and some change. Cincinnati scored 3 points a minute, putting up 63 points. 3 points a minute of possession.
I need to get with Zach and see if this is a record. I'm guessing it might be.
In regards to
9 Bearcats scored a touchdown.
That might be a record.
9 Bearcats scored a touchdown. Nobody scored 2. All 3 running backs.
That's crazy.
Josh, Lenny,
Evan,
Tyler, Evan, and then Jabari Taylor and Javon Hicks.
Are you counting
9?
Do you count
Bearcats
Ben?
Scored a touchdown.
Do you count Ben as scoring a
No,
touchdown?
no. I'm talking about scoring a touchdown.
Crossing the plane. Okay.
9 Bearcats scored a touchdown. They scored 9 touchdowns. They did not have anybody score 2.
That's wild.
How is that not? I can't imagine that's ever been done before.
Maybe not.
Right? Because usually like a running back gets a couple when you have those like high scoring games. Or like Marty Gilliard gets 2.
Sure.
Or like whatever. 9 different Bearcats scored a touchdown.
That's crazy.
That's as complete of a performance, I think, as you could reasonably expect coming off of the Arkansas game, right?
I mean, you against the triple option.
Against, like, yes, they're FCS, okay? Like, yes, they are. But that's not a terrible FCS team.
I was going to say, of the FCS schools you could have faced, that's not one that's, like, just...
trash. They've been alive. This is their 8th season. 4 of them have been, like, into the playoffs and, like, very relevant. They had good athletes. They were disciplined. They ran into an absolute buzzsaw.
Yes.
We'll get like Dave and Jeff in the morning are going to get to this. We'll get to it Monday night on the BBP.
Well, here's a question I want to pose to you, and I'm sure it'll come up again on the BBP. We had talked ad nauseum about how this might be the best linebacking group in a very long time, even considering last year's linebacking group.
Potentially, yes, but
I
potential is one thing.
I don't feel that way anymore. I don't even think they're the best group on this defense.
The D line was very good today.
The D line is turning my head.
I'm worried about one thing.
Losing Malik is a big loss.
What's the status of Malik? Because it's not it is a group that has a chance to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a group as you get into the more pass heavy teams. Sorry, I'm fighting off a cold. Like,
I guess.
Doing everything I can. Mucinex, Tylenol, ear drops, throat spray. Like, I'm doing everything I can to fight this cold off. I'm kind of losing, but I'm doing everything I can.
You gotta get that vitamin C.
Vitamin B. Bourbon? Is bourbon one of the vitamins?
I don't think that's. Nope.
No.
It goes the other way on your whole immune system thing.
Well, anyhow.
You said everything.
My Ricola has vitamin C in it. So
Jesus.
Anyhow, I worry like they haven't developed an edge rushing presence yet to replace Majay. And if Malik is out for an extended period of time,
see, that's where I'm actually going to disagree with you. Because I think
I
think that you can slot Eric Phillips in and not have a giant drop off.
Okay, but there's the problem.
I mean, you still don't have a Majay.
No. Who's behind Eric Phillips?
Well, I've seen Noah Potter play an awful lot.
On the other side.
Sure. Just saying. I mean, I feel like with defensive ends, you can move them around a little bit.
But there's a specific reason. One's on the strong side, one's on the weak, one's on field, one's on boundary.
There's a comfortability about it. I get all that. Just saying. I mean,
Malik will be if Malik is out for any extended period of time. It is a substantial loss, just from the fact that we felt good about Malik, Briggs, Corleone, Jabari.
It was a lot of fun to watch 4 down today.
Yeah. You're not going to see that much going forward.
It's
fine. It was a lot of fun to watch it today.
It's nice to know that they have that in the arsenal at this point. Because
sure.
I think it was...
If teams want to go 12 personnel and try to big time them, they absolutely have a different look that they didn't have last year.
Agreed.
I will give you that 1,000%.
And again, I go back to the question that I asked somebody in the presser. At this point, I don't remember. It's been a long time since the presser 4 hours ago. But Luke himself had questions about the depth at the position of defensive line. And I think today you saw that question answered. And I
hat tip to Ryan Mullaney.
Yeah.
Who was a name not a lot of people knew. He's been hovering
Brent said,
below the 2 deep.
Brent said, 57. Let me look. Oh, walk on Ryan Mullaney.
He's been hovering right below the 2 deep all through the spring and summer. Today, with Malik out, he was hovering on the 2 deep. And he had his chance to make plays. And guess what? He looked like a pretty good football player.
Yeah.
At least against the triple option.
Very cool to see both Javon Hicks and Jabari Taylor both score.
Dude, my favorite part of the day?
Watching Jabari do the his best. What's the guy who leads the stupid Ohio State band out with the high step? He just high step all the way around the field. It felt like
was his post game realizing
I was tired as hell.
No, realizing I ran the wrong way. I ran to the other sideline and then had to turn around and run all the way back. And then after the kickoff, go back out and play defensive tackle.
Totally didn't realize that, oh, yeah, we have to go back out on the field.
No, well, that's what you think. Like when you get a stop, right? Like when you're the defense, you get a stop.
That was more than a stop.
He's never done that before.
Kind of funny though to hear that Combs called the Coleraine touchdown as well, though.
Well, that's a running joke from last year where Deshaun Pace
couldn't ever find the end zone.
The 3-yard line multiple times.
He had a bit of a bounce back game today.
He was better. Ivan was again
the better pace. The better pace.
I don't like pitting them against each other, but
Deshaun did have the field goal block though.
Ivan had the strip that led to the Jabari touchdown. That was Ivan. He's the one that
he's everywhere. I just assume if something's happening right now on defense, it's Ivan. I loved his tweet before the game. I'm finally playing on the right side.
The right side of the nip.
Stadium enhancements looked great in person.
Yeah.
The large decals on the walls look fantastic. The on-field suites turned out they looked like fun.
Yeah,
the people down there were having fun.
There were a bunch of BCJ members down there, as I knew they were going to be. You guys spend money on this, you're gonna
splurge in other places. That have to do with Bearcats.
So there were 7 suites. I think at least 4 of them had some BCJ folks in it, and everybody I talked to was like, "Look, it's not the best view."
I love that view. You love that view. We know that view.
But we're like, it's an acquired taste.
I also understand it's going to be ever evolving as they're going to get feedback. So one of the things that you and I noticed today was you have the coverage in the back if their elements were at play, but maybe potentially a tarp of some sort or something to where you don't need to see above.
They didn't have the TVs set up yet. Those are supposed to be online for the Indiana game, where you can not only have the UC game on, but apparently today it was important to have a lot of other games on if you could check them out.
Texas, Alabama.
Yeah, so there's some improvements that need to be made, but everybody I've talked to down there said the environment, the experience down here is amazing.
Yes.
Josh Wiley coming right into your kitchen. First touchdown.
Yeah, we can attest to that. I mean,
that's I love it.
Also, for those who are curious about bathrooms, they do have bathrooms down there that you can use. Currently, I guess it is only the porta potties there in the hallway, or you can wander upstairs. The elevator's right there as well to take you upstairs. You can travel back and forth, and you can order food and beverage down there too, and it's delivered as opposed to having to go wait in line. So those are some of the details.
It looked like a great experience.
And again, it's going to continue to evolve, and I'm sure that there will be enhancements as this thing takes off.
And I will also say, kudos to UC. There was a national issue with ticketing.
National.
And from everything I heard, they did the best they could. And if you looked at kickoff, the place was pretty much full. Very early in the first quarter, that was a full house. It didn't destroy the situation. And here's what I'll give them credit for. A lot of people are too stubborn to admit there's a problem, we've created a solution, and we're trying to get the solution out to everybody we can. When they realized there was a problem and they created a solution, they hit up all of us.
All the media. Yep.
And said, please help us out. Help us get the fans in the stadium. Have us tweet it out. Have us put it on our channels. Do what we can. That is how you win at this stuff when you have problems. It's not to ignore it. It's not to kick it under the rug. It's not to say, sorry, there's nothing we could do. It's to aggressively do everything you can to let people know we've created a solution. Check
Well,
your email. Like
and
be
isn't it
proactive.
isn't this where things like the fast pass, like the what or whatever is it? I don't. Is it called the fast pass?
I don't know.
Or something
Yeah,
along that line,
something,
where
yeah.
where you can like basically check into the game while you're out on the grid. That's
Yeah.
something that you can do proactively to make sure that if there is something like this that happens again, God forbid, where
But that's not my point specifically. My point specifically is
they took care of
identify
it.
problem, find solution to problem, do everything you can to get the message to your customers that here is how to fix the problem.
Yeah, I know. Like
And they did that today.
Pittsburgh had the same issue. They put something out on Twitter nationally.
Yeah.
Nebraska, I believe, was another one that had that same issue.
There was a bunch.
Yeah,
there was a bunch.
Anyone who's using this particular program,
Yeah.
It was out for everyone. So it wasn't just here at Cincinnati. So
yeah.
Outside of that, though,
good day. It was a good day.
Weather was perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple Kennesaw State people. They had them in one of the and I wonder if this is going to continue on like the in suite, where the infield suite right by the visiting team.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple Kennesaw State people in there today, and I was casually just chatting up with them, and they're like, "This place is amazing. This campus is amazing. The stadium's amazing. The spot is amazing. Like this program's got it going in the right direction." And I was like, "You should have seen it 6 years ago, man. That wasn't this fun."
Yikes!
It is what it is, right? Like,
yeah.
We can make those jokes. We've been
No.
there. We
No.
lived it. We can make those jokes.
But I don't know. I mean, hopefully everything continues on the field anyway against Miami, and then back home against Indiana.
Indiana team that was losing 10-0 to Idaho at halftime.
Football's weird.
They've gotten on track. I think there's 23-10 Indiana when we started this, but
I think today has shown you that maybe there's something broken in the way that we're rating these players who are being recruited. Speaking of recruits, there are recruits everywhere today, both football and basketball. But
check the boards. There's a lot of reason to do that right now. I also, is it uncomfortable that I had at least 10 grown men tell me they love me today that I'd never met before in my life?
I feel like that's old hat to you at this point.
No, it was a lot. There was a lot.
I got to meet Ryan Royer today.
He's excited about Monday night.
He's
excited to talk about a win.
Give him a hug.
He's excited to talk about a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a whole different conversation than taking that L. So,
and he was on the field. He was over by the kicking net the whole game.
Yeah,
he's going to have a great perspective. So we'll see him on Monday night. Bearcat brunch, 9:30 tomorrow morning. You better get you some sleep.
Can't wait.
You're going to be sleeping with the baby in that chair like this during the Bearcat brunch tomorrow.
In this chair? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't even know the baby's been in the basement.
No. All right, let's get out of here. He's Aaron Smith. I'm Chad Brendel. This is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!